Hi guys, so I welcome you all to today's discussion on 5 MCQs a day series in which we are going to discuss the topic of finance and management, that is FM. Now this particular video is going to be relevant for the FM portion which comes out in the RBI Grade B and SEBI Grade A examination, and the topic which we are going to discuss in this particular video is going to be time value of money. So if we quickly take a look at the relevance of this particular video, so this is mainly going to be relevant for the phase 2 of SEBI Grade A and RBI Grade B examination. And if you want to know about the courses which are presently running for these examinations as well as other examinations like IBPS or NABARD examination, you can take a look at our website, which is www.edutap.co.in. Now, before proceeding forward, let me also quickly tell you about the results that we have got in the past few years. So we have started this initiative of guiding students for these competitive exams, and we have been blessed with some of the very amazing results. So if we take a look at the RBI Grade B 2017 exam, we have got 27 selections in the final list, and in NABARD Grade A 2017, there were 11 selections in the final list. And in the NABARD Grade A 2018, 27 of our students, they made it to the final list, and out of the total generalist seats, which were only 46. And in RBI Grade B 2018, 287 plus interview calls have been received by our students, and the final result of this is still awaited. So now let's come back to our topic and start our discussion on this topic of time value of money. So guys, let's start with the first question. Which of the following factors gives rise to time value of money? Money can be employed productively to generate real returns. In an inflationary period, a rupee today has higher purchasing power than a rupee in the future. Due to uncertainties in the future, current consumption is preferred to future consumption. All of the above or none of the above. So guys, in order to answer this question, we must be aware about the concept of time value of money. Now rupees 100 in hand today is more valuable than rupees 100 receivable after a year. So if someone asks you, you want rupees 100 now or after a year, you would definitely prefer it today, because the value of rupees 100 is definitely going to be higher 1 year from now. So we are not going to part with rupees 100 if someone says that we are going to return rupees 100 after 1 year. But if someone says that he or she is going to return rupees 110, then we may be in favor of this transaction. Now this additional compensation, that is the difference between rupees 100 and rupees 110, this additional compensation is the requirement for parting rupees 100 today, and this is nothing, this is the interest, or what we call it, the time value of money. So this is the time value of money, rupees 100 today, rupees 110 1 year from now. So this difference between these two is nothing but the time value of money. Money grows with time. Now, why should money have time value? Now, the money should have time value because it can be employed productively to generate real returns. So this money can be employed in any business, it can be put in the bank, or it can be invested somewhere to earn some real returns. So that's why rupees 100 now is not the same as rupees 100 at the end of 1 year. It has to be employed somewhere, it will generate some returns, and it will definitely gain a higher value. So that's why it has a time value. Further, in an inflationary period, a rupee today has higher purchasing power than a rupee in the future. So if we assume that there is inflation in the economy, then definitely what we are able to buy out of rupees 100 today, we may not be able to buy that at rupees 100 1 year from now. So money today has more value, and money tomorrow, the same amount of money, it is going to have lesser value, and hence this lesser value must be compensated for inflation so that the real worth remains the same. So that's why this is the time value of money which has to be compensated. Further, due to uncertainties in the future, current consumption is preferred to future consumption. So then again, because the future is uncertain, it may happen that the prices may rise in the future or something else may happen. So that's why the future has a time value. So the three determinants combined together, they give us the rate of interest. So the nominal or the market interest rate is going to be the real rate of return, real rate of interest, plus the expected rate of inflation, plus the risk premium to compensate for uncertainty. So if we combine these three elements, we get the market interest rate or the nominal interest rate. So that's why that's the reason the money has time value. So friends, now I believe the concept of time value of money is very much clear to us, that there's a time gap between the rupees 100 today and 1 year from now, and this gives rise to time value of money. And all these statements which are given here with regard to this particular concept, they are all correct. So the answer is going to be option number 4. Next question. In which method of time value of money we find the future value of all the cash flows at the end of the time period at a given rate of interest? Now there are different methods which are associated with the concept of time value of money, and this question is based on those particular methods. Options are discounting, compounding, sensitizing, scenario analysis, or none of the above. Now friends, if you talk about the different methods of time value of money, then there are popularly two methods which are employed. The first is compounding and the other one is discounting. Before reading this, let me take you to this image, and this will help you to understand this concept in a very clear manner. So present value, this is nothing but rupees 100, and future value, this is nothing but rupees 110. So if we have to arrive at rupees 110 from rupees 100, what we do? We do compounding. So if we have to buy, if we have to get the future value from the present value, we do compounding. But if we have rupees 100 and we have to arrive at rupees, if we have rupees 110 and we have to arrive at rupees 100, then what we do? We do discounting. So when we are arriving at a higher value, we are doing compounding, and when we are arriving at a lower value, which is the present value, we are doing discounting. So in compounding, we find the future values, and in discounting, we arrive at the present value by using some appropriate discounting factor. So this is the difference between these two terms. Now there are some other differences also which can be highlighted between these two terms. So the first basis for comparison which has been put here is the meaning of these two terms, and now we are all aware about the meaning of these terms. Compounding is going to determine the future value and discounting is going to determine the present value. Now in the concept part, so if we invest some money today, what will be the amount at a future date? So this is the concept of compounding. And the concept of discounting says that what should be the amount you need to put in today in order to get a certain amount in future. So if your target is to get rupees 1 lakh in future, what you must invest today, you find out this amount by discounting. So in compounding, we use compound interest rate, and in discounting, we use the discount rate. And in compounding, we know the present value and we have to find the future value. In discounting, we know the future value and we have to find the present value. And there are different factors, like in compounding, we use the future value factor, and in discounting, we use the present value factors. And there are the formulas also which are given. So in compounding, we are trying to find the future value. And this formula which we use here is this present value 1 plus r to the power n. And in discounting, we have to find the present value from the future value. And this formula is future value divided by 1 plus r to the power n. So I believe now the concept of compounding and discounting, they're very much clear to us. So now we can easily answer that if we have to find the future value of all the cash flows at the end of the time period at a given rate of interest, what we are doing? We are compounding. So here the answer is going to be option number 2, compounding. So I hope you got this one right. Next question. The fixed deposit scheme of Punjab National Bank offers the following interest rates. There is a period of deposit and there is rate per annum. So if you are going to deposit your money up to 179 days, you are going to get 5% per annum. And if you deposit up to 1 year, then the rate is 5.5%. And if you go beyond 1 year, the rate is 6%. So if you invest rupees 15,000 in a fixed deposit scheme in Punjab National Bank today, for 3 years, this amount after 3 years is going to be. So this is in technical terms, it says amount of rupees 15,000 invested today for 3 years will be compounded too. So this is the question on compounding. So we are all aware about the formula of compounding. What are the variables that we have to use in this formula? We are all aware about that. So we have to just put in this formula and get the answer. So there are different options given, that is 16,540, 17,865, 18,460 and 19,240. So let's take a quick look at the formula and then try to put in the values in the formula to arrive at the future value. So as we have seen that when we have to find the future value, we use the present value and we multiply by this 1 plus rate of interest to the power n, which is the period. So in the given question, we are given the present value, that is the initial cash outflow, as rupees 15,000. We are given the rate of interest. The rate of interest is 6% and we are given the period or the life, that is 3 years. So we just put in the figures 15,000 into 1.06 to the power 3, and this comes out to 1.191, and if we multiply this we get the answer rupees 17,865. So friends, as we have seen from our previous calculation, the answer to this particular question is going to be option number 2, that is 17,865. Next question. If the rate of interest is 5%, using the rule of 72, calculate the time period in which the investment would double. Now this rule of 72 is very important and can be asked in the examination. So this rule is employed to calculate the period in which the investment can double in order to get a rough estimate of this particular period. So if the rate of interest is 5%, the doubling period is going to be, the options are 12.2 years, 13.3 years, 14.4 years, 15.5 years, or none of the above. So friends, if we learn about the rule of 72, then this is a very simple manner, very simple way to determine how long it will take for an investment to double. So if you have to find out when our rupees 100 are going to become rupees 200, you can employ this particular rule to arrive at the number of years, the doubling period, provided you are given a fixed annual rate of interest. So if you have the annual rate of interest, you can find the period in which the investment is going to double. And for finding out this, you divide 72 by the annual rate of return and you get a rough estimate of how many years it is going to take for the initial investment to duplicate itself. So if you talk about in formula terms, the formula that is going to be used in the rule of 72 is this one. That is, the doubling period is equal to 72 divided by the rate of interest. So if for instance the rate is 5% as we are given in the question, so the doubling period is going to be 72 divided by 5, which gives us 14.4 years. So guys, now we can easily answer this question, that if we employ the rule of 72, the rate of interest is 5%, the doubling period is going to be option number 3, that is 14.4 years. Now let's move to the next question. Calculate the present value of rupees 1000 receivable after 3 years. The cost of capital is given as 10% per annum. So in this question, this is a very easy question. We just have to put in the formula of finding the present value, and we have to use this cost of capital also to find the figure of present value. So we are given different options here: 902, 834, 751, 685, or none of the above. Now friends, in order to arrive at the question, we must be aware about how to calculate the present values. So here is a present value of rupee 1 table. So this you can understand that how, if rupee 1 is invested for a number of years and for different rate of interest, what is going to be its present value. So for 1% interest rate, the present value of rupee 1 is going to be 0.9901. Now this is very easy to calculate. What you have to do, you just have to do 1 divided by 1 plus 1%. And similarly, if you talk about the 10%, you have to do 1 divided by 1 plus 10%. So this is going to be 1 divided by 1.1. But if we talk about the second year, then this is going to be 1 divided by 1.1 to the power 2. So this is how we try to find out the present value of rupee 1, and sometimes we also use this particular table in which this calculation is already done. Now let's understand how these values they are calculated and how it can, the formula behind this can be used in our particular problem to find out the correct answer. So friends, we are given the following formula for finding out the present value, that is the present value is equal to future value divided by 1 plus rate of interest to the power n, that is the time period. So as we saw in the previous slide, if we are given the future value as rupees 1 and we are given the rate of interest, we can put in these value of I and n and we can find out the present value of rupee 1, and all these they have already been put in a separate table also. Now if we apply this particular formula into the given problem, then we are given that rupees 1000 is invested, rupees 1000 is receivable after 3 years. So present value of rupee 1 at 10% receivable after 3 years. So we can either take a look at the table or we can just put in this formula that the present value is going to be, we are given the future value as rupees 1000 and we are given the rate of interest as 10% and number of years as 3. So it is going to be 1000 divided by 1.1 to the power 3. So this 1.1 to the power 3 comes out to 0.7513, and when multiplied by 1000, which is the future value, this is going to give us rupees 751.30. So friends, now we can easily answer this question that 751 approximately is going to be the correct answer. So guys, this was all about our discussion for today. If you have any query, you can drop us a mail at hello@edutap.co.in, or if you want to know more about our courses, you can visit our website at www.edutap.co.in. Or in case of any query, you want to get into touch with us personally, you can call us at 8146 207 241. So friends, if you enjoyed watching this video, please like the same, share it with your friends, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. And in case you wish to get regular updates from us, you can even join our Telegram channel, the link of which is given here as well as in the description of this particular video. Now an additional benefit which you can get by joining this Telegram channel is that you can fetch the PDFs of all the discussions which we are doing on YouTube through this particular Telegram channel, which is going to be very helpful for you in revision. So thank you friends, happy learning.